All right, everybody. Don't mind the grass and weeds We got a hose coming from the house. There's no timer. There's no nothing. We actually got two hoses because we didn't have enough length. This is about almost like 80 feet from the hose spigot to some emitters. And my son is going to tell you, he wanted to tell you guys where, because I cut this video already. And he's like, you're not telling him like what you did and how. So
and where you got it from.
Yeah, so I'm going to let him speak. So go ahead.
So we got these drip emitters from Ice's nursery. And they emit like half a gallon in an hour. So if you were to drip these into a bucket for like an hour, it would emit half a gallon of water in an hour.
Very cool. Half a gallon an hour. Yep. So that's these little things. And these are like a special kind from Ison's to where you can run them on well water and they won't clog. It's probably why the body is so big, because it like makes up for, well, I don't know. They're supposedly never gonna clog on you. This is 1/2-inch distribution hose. And then we got some different kind of fittings. So this is a T-fitting, so we can go to the hose. And then we got a hose fitting here. And then we got a lot of T-fittings to hose as well. I don't know if we're gonna need all those, but I do have them on hand. So this thing stretches like almost like a horseshoe. So it goes, this is the inlet here, and then it goes there on one run, and then this is one run here. So there's 2 rows of trees. When we first started planning this out, we thought we would get 3 rows of trees, but there's no way this little ridge will support the canopy, because these jujubes will get 15-20 feet. And then the persimmons 15-20 feet. So they're actually kind of close, to be honest, but we'll make do, and we'll trim them back as we, as is good. I got some cold tolerant figs here. So this is Teramo. Can't really see the Teramo, and this is green. Don't mind my pronunciation. Green Mitch is what I have it as. Machinska. It's Adriatic fig, and it's supposedly very cold hardy. Oh, and also excellent flavor. So that's why I have this one here. And then just everything else is the same. So we have, I think this is Maria's Joy. We have a few Maria's Joy. One more vigorous than the others. No, I'm sorry, Nikita's Gift. Maria's Joy is the pawpaw. Nikita's Gift is the persimmon. So this is Nikita's Gift persimmon. And then we have some Proc persimmons. And then some of the Proc are more, I'll show you. It might even due to the soil. The jujubes are doing well. So we just turned this on for the first time ever. As we set this up, this hose wasn't here 2 hours ago. And you can tell some of the emitters drip a little faster. Maybe not. Maybe they were just, the equilibrium was setting in, because there was a lot of water or air in these hoses. And so when I went over there, cut the first video, I was like, this is air, this isn't that water, what's going on? Because it was bleeding the air out as the water came across. And then once the air was all gone. So this is another Proc persimmon, a little bit more vigorous, because the growth is higher on this one. It's more vigorous on this one than on some of the others. So this pocket of soil just might be better, because like if you look, the Procs are doing better here on this part, but then the Nikita's Gift, if you look at the size on this, it's trying to like fruit already. And the jujube is also pretty robust on this, just this little part of the soil. I'm thinking there's something going on the underground. But yeah, so we got these from Ison's. We paid an arm and a leg in shipping. Let me just check the velocity. Yeah, see the water's. So we have a 1/2 gallon well pump. That's all we have. See, there's air in it still. I don't know if you heard the air just now in the line. But yeah, so we have a 1/2 gallon well pump. I'm looking to put 1.5 gallons on it and possibly dig it down to the bottom of the if it's not already, because there's no documentation on how deep our well's been dug. So we have no idea if it's to the bottom of the aquifer or not, or if it's like at the middle, or if they broke water and they were like, oh, let's take it another 30 feet and call it a day. So we don't know. But being that I'm gonna have like 2 acres of forest on drip, not all year long, but just just during dry spells when it's not raining well, I'm gonna want my water to be robust. So a gallon and I'm sorry, a 1.5 horsepower pump, maybe even 1 horsepower, but probably more like 1.5 horsepower pump, and a much larger pressure tank, because we have, I don't know, like a 30-gallon, 50-gallon pressure tank right now, probably like a 30-gallon pressure tank. So it's not too big. The pears that we planted, they're all disease tolerant. So we have Shenandoah, Magnus, Harrow Sweet, which is one of the least disease tolerant of the 4 is the Harrow Sweet. I'm gonna probably get the Blake's Pride next year for anything that dies off. I'm gonna replace it with Blake's Pride next year. That was the 5th pear variety that I was not able to buy. Over the winter, the rats, there were mice that got into the shed where I was overwintering all of the muscadines, and so we really only have like 2 that survived. Everything else died, unfortunately. But fortunately, I had a few to fill in, like to replace. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 muscadines of 14 that we planned out, unfortunately. But what we're gonna miss out on muscadines, we're gonna make up for with everything else. So we got these little tree collars on to stop the rabbits. Looks like they're just PVC that's been cut or something, and you can just twirl it around all the way up. It'll stop the rabbits and chipmunks and whatnot, ground squirrels and other animals from eating your bark and girdling your tree and cutting off its heart kind of thing, and it just dies off. So, but yeah, so the pears are looking okay. The apples in the back are already budding. Some of these pears are budding also. It's looking good. So we got the drip irrigation again on the drier ridge first, because it goes uphill like a good 4 to 5 feet high, and it slopes down to where it flattens out more, where the PB soil is. So our soil is fine sandy loam. So you can dig it like really, really easy, and it's like perfect soil for an orchard. All that's left is for us to not make horrible mistakes. So yeah, we're gonna need like maybe another 600 feet or so of irrigation, half-inch irrigation line to finish this off. I have enough emitters. I made sure that I got enough like elbows and joints and whatnot. We just need hose, and we're done. So I'm thinking about putting these in quadrants, so that the 2 quadrants there and then 1 here, and then somewhere in the middle of them like a hose timer, like a 2-zone timer, because the drier ridge trees will get less water than the more thirsty trees will. So I'm thinking about a way to split up the water. And I dug this, me and my son dug this, part of a swale. We kind of got tired of digging it by hand. And it rained 4 days ago. And this is the water holding capacity of our somewhat rapidly. It normally, when it rains here, the soil is sandy enough to where the infiltration rates, they make it to where the roots don't stagnate too bad. But there's still moisture left over, like days after a rain, which is also a good sign. One other thing is we had those 2 cages on the very end there, we had a few flowering trees. You remember the name?
No. Lilac?
No, they're pussy willow trees. Very, very prolific for bee fodder in early spring. So it's mostly a pollen source, a little nectar, but mostly a pollen source for honeybees in early spring. We want to do bees as well, and almost everything we're growing here does excellent for bees. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. That was another whole design principle here. We have some swarm traps that we're hoping to catch bees with this spring, and then as these trees grow out, they'll produce honey from the flowers here on site.
What kind of brand is the bee traps?
I got them online. I can't remember the guy's name at all. I'll do it in a future video. But he's from Russia. Guy's from Russia. He makes his own swarm traps. He makes his own hive. Horizontalhive.com is his website, but I can't remember his name. But I got the swarm traps from horizontalhive.com. Anyways, I really appreciate everyone commenting, offering suggestions, asking questions, and subscribing. What you'll see in this channel is a food forest from the ground up. That's what it's going to be. One other thing is that the figs from last season that we planted out are, where is the one at? I think it's over here. Yeah, it's sprouting up. It's sending shoots. So it looks like it died to the ground, possibly. Yeah, it did die to the ground, but it's sending up shoots, which is a good sign. This is the Hitive de Argentile fig. So it's supposedly also a cold hardy variety, excellent flavor. Again, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it, everyone.